Hello folks, welcome to spoiler season. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. It is set 3 time. We have finally gotten set 3 announced. It looks like it is ready to be released by the end of the year, so I would expect it in January, and that's really exciting. So much cool things are gonna happen. The set name is Eternal: The Dusk Road, and I am pretty jazzed to see what all is going on. We have 5 new pieces of art for 5 new Scion cards. It is hard to say if they are going to be official Scion cards or more of like the Vara's Choice type thing. I suspect that there are going to be some new Scions. I'm definitely seeing a couple of these that look like they might be new Scion cards, but there are others that look like they might be, in addition, like cards that are based around the Scions. So we might see a bunch of new things. Certainly, the storyline will continue to involve the Scions. Their journey yet progresses, and we have a lot of things going on. The sun begins to set on Myria as the Eternal Throne stands empty. The Shadowlands seep inwards, twisting their surroundings and consuming memories of those who don't know the world has changed around them. It is a fated place, and none now living recall its hidden pathways or where they lead, and the shadow spread shows no sign of stopping. So we're going into the dark timeline, and yeah, it's gonna be a ride. So first off, we have art for Vara. She is heading down the Dusk Road, it would appear, chasing after Azindel. I really like this. This is their sort of marquee art for at least the opening of the spoiler, and looking pretty cool. Like, overall, we've got some good color work and stuff going on here, all of that, but I'm most excited to see what's happening with the other Scions. Vara's a pretty steadfast character, got a lot of, like, sort of the same things going on from place to place. However, Roland looks a little bit more interesting, and let's just open that up and show off what's going on with Roland. So we got a new Roland piece of art as well, and things are not going well for him. The Cabal has taken over Argenport. All of the rioting and just bad news following Roland's harsh rule has caught up to him, and he has been captured. And we've actually learned something new about Roland. His arm is apparently a prosthetic, which I wasn't actually aware of, but it makes a lot of sense. Certainly Roland's fist is not actually a glove, so the left arm that he has is in fact like sort of a cool mechanical arm that he has, and he has lost it for this particular setup. We have a new Eileen. Eileen's art is gorgeous, like really kind of makes the character look awesome, and like I'm really pleased to see that happen, because I didn't I'm not sure I liked Eileen until I looked at this art, and I was like, okay, yeah, I see it. She is returning to the Skycrag clans, sort of like freshly reclaiming her leadership. I'm guessing she's winning fights against Vadius, but also, like, being a rescuer of Argenport has apparently won her some respect. But in any case, reclaiming the Skycrag clans, taking up wing and heading towards Argenport is where we are leaving Eileen, and it looks like she's going to have a pretty sweet new card for her. Talir, I think everybody's actually probably seen the art for Talir. It shows up quite a bit because Talir is messing around with Waystones, trying to stop the Shadowlands from encroaching in, and we have some pretty sweet art for that. She has definitely changed the most dramatically over all of the different characters. When she's doing her weird little energy channel thing, she looks a lot different. I'm really curious to see where this goes, but we've seen this character, of course, because she is a time traveler, and she's shown up in a couple of the other, like, storyline type sets. So interested to see if there's a new Talir card. That looks like a pretty rad one. And then finally we have Caleb continuing the search for his mother. Lots of little adventure stuff there, and Caleb's new art is pretty delightful as well. Once again, making the character look a lot more like hospitable, I guess. Like, I like these characters a lot more with the current art that they've been given. There is definitely, like, a huge improvement over, like, just how these characters are sort of progressing in their journey. Like, Caleb no longer seems like a butt. He's carrying a little harpoon here. Yeah, this is pretty funny, good stuff, and I'm pretty delighted to see improvements to that character. Also, it's kind of starting to look like most of the characters may have color shifted. This Caleb card looks like it is probably blue. The Talir card looks like it is probably red, and the Eileen card I would suspect to be green. I don't know about Roland, but he's kind of been heading down a shadow path for a while, and Vara might be in time, or by process of elimination, or it could be that they are in some sort of color pairings, such as Huru and Xenon and all of the like. Roland would, of course, be firmly Argenport, similar to their choices, but we will see exactly how that turns out for them. I'm all hyped for speculation, but let's get to the meat of it. We actually have one card that has been spoiled, and it is a doozy. I am really excited to show it off. And last, here it is. Curiox, the Insatiable Seeker. Gonna be way too big here. But there is that gorgeous, gorgeous art. He is our first 3-color card. I am pretty delighted by this. He's still a Legion, but he's got the splash of red now, and that means that there is almost certainly going to be at least a cycle of 3-color cards. I don't think it's going to be like a huge multicolor set, but I would very much suspect that Curiox joins at least 4 other cards in sort of hashing out the first of our 3-color shards, I believe they're called. So, let's look at the skills. Curiox is a 5/5 with flying and +2/+2 while you have a relic. So he is a 7/7 flying dragon, just like before if you have a relic. That's actually not too hard to do, and that's going to be an important part of the whole setup anyways. Curiox has ultimate when Curiox hits the enemy player. If you have 5 or more spells in your void, create and draw a Dragon's Eye. And if you aren't familiar with the Dragon's Eye, it is the same card as on Curiox's previous form. It is a 0-cost card that draws 3 cards for you as a just basic spell. So obviously drawing a Dragon's Eye is just 3 free cards, and also a recurring 3 free cards that you can play around with in other fashions. Like if you're running cards like Excavate, then you can get those cards back and do a lot of really good things with that. If you have any way to sort of recur the Dragon's Eye from the void, it is even better than the card advantage that it already offers. Having a Dragon's Eye in your deck, in your void, or in your hand is just really, really good for you, and there are a lot of interesting things that you can do with that. So pretty exciting stuff already. So let's talk about Curiox a little bit. This is a pretty intense card. It's got very, very deep influence requirements, similar to, I think the closest comparison would be something like the Nostrix, the Watcher, or Nostrix, the big owl. 5/7 for 6 that has, I believe, 3 different colors, and Heart of the Vault is another card that has very similar things going on, where you have just really, really deep influence requirements, but if you can get all of them together, then you get a very, very solid benefit from it. So, things going on with Curiox. Curiox is extremely efficient. A 7/7 flyer for 6 is about as efficient as it gets. You can get a 7/7 flyer for 5 in the form of Obrak, but the cost on that is a lot higher than just having a relic on the board. You actually have to sacrifice units to it, and it's not going to work out terribly well in your favor. Curiox should be counted pretty heavily for the amount of board presence that he generates, and not just for his being able to hit an enemy player, because there are a lot more hoops to jump through for that ultimate. But if you do actually manage to stick this card and you hit with that ultimate, you're going to win the game. Like, it's very, very likely that you'll have enough mid-range to really push through. You've done your 7 damage, you've got 3 more cards to play with, like, and you're in a spell-based deck. So it's pretty likely that if you hit with the ultimate, you win. And he's going to be a 7/7 either way. So it's just pretty solid. Very scary hybrid color card that is doing enough on board to justify the 6 cost. Not any immediate impact on board, does not have the summon, does not have any sort of like thing that it does when it hits, but he's just a really big dude, and being a really big dude at 6 is totally reasonable. He does have to have a relic down on the field, but that's not actually that hard, especially when you are in time. Curiox is going to be played most likely with Power Stone, which is a card that will allow you to get him out on turn 5. He'll also be played, I think, with Calderan Cradle, which I think is kind of hilarious. You're going to be playing a lot of spells to get the spells into your void for the Dragon's Eye, and then also playing the Dragon's Eye as a spell, and that draws you more spells to make your Calderan Cradles finally viable. So spell-based Curiox decks are definitely a thing that you could do, and I think that Calderan Cradle might actually be playable under those circumstances, which would be a lot of fun to see. I'm predicting this card could be a solid addition to some carpet shuffle type lists. There's definitely some situations where that's going to be okay. Typically, you don't add creatures to that type of list, but I'm suspecting that there's going to be a couple more cards in that vein. Yeah, so we have a lot of cool stuff coming. I am just absolutely. I'm pretty delighted with so much going on here. Like, we have the. Oh, let's not move that. So, one of the things I really like about this art is that Curiox is insatiably seeking in Argenport. Like, he is clearly raiding a Minotaur stronghold of some kind, looking for that eye, and I think that's pretty delightful. This is a good bit of art, good bit of thing going on with Curiox. So pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, overall, pretty reasonable board presence, really exciting legendary. Gonna be a ton of fun to play with. Just getting that ultimate is gonna be it's such a good way to win the game, and it's one of those ones where if you hit, you're pretty likely to win, but the follow through is gonna be a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of cool things that you get to do with the card, and that should be really, really effective. And you're gonna be playing this card in like big mid-range lists with Heart of the Vault. You're gonna be playing him with the other Curiox in big spell-based decks, which I think is delightful. Like, I think that there might be a chance that you can just be like rolling Dragon's Eyes like crazy in some sort of big Elysian type situation with torches, and that's all like really just kind of my jam. This is a really fun Timmy Johnny card. I think he's gonna have a lot of cool things to do. So, we will almost certainly have more spoilers probably this week and next. I'm going to be covering them as they come out. If they group up a little bit, then we'll cover them in batches. Really excited to be doing that. We're also going to be trying to release some other stuff as well. I've been pretty crazy busy. Just the holidays have made my commute kind of ridiculous, but I will be making videos and streaming basically every free hour I've got. So I'm really excited to be sharing more stuff with you, and stay tuned for more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Pojo out. Cheers.